Salutations, Everpup, and welcome to chapter 24 of Sorry, Wrong Number by ShizunaRey. As always, the link to the fic will be in the description below. And with that out of the way, let's jump on into it. Chapter 24. We're losing Sam to gambling, y'all. Author's notes. Another chapter thanks to the Discord. Trust me, I would have lost to procrastination even longer. I would have loved to procrastinate even longer. On another note, I recently commissioned a wonderful piece of art for this fic from Seth, Starsong, on AO3, which will be revealed once this fic comes to an end. I've been reading this fic and the start is just absolutely awful, but there's no fixing that now. We've been going from the senseless comedy to emotional talks to more senseless comedy, and now here's another emotional talk chapter. God, someone please just force me to get it together and write some plot. Ah! Avengers Plus. OG Bird. Yo guys, weird question, but is Moon Knight here? OG Bird. I'm pretty sure I just saw him punching a wall. OG Bird. He's also talking to himself. Better Bird. Clint. What? OG Bird. Dude, I swear to God. OG Bird. I'm just chilling on my balcony and fucking Mark Spector comes storming outside. Natasha. I thought he's in Cairo? OG Bird. Yeah, that's what I thought too. OG Bird. I swear to God, at Iron Dad, if this is your fault, Nat will kill you. Natasha. Sure. OG Bird. You know what? I'm gonna go talk to Spectre and ask him. Better Bird. I am genuinely amazed by your stupidity. OG Bird. Oh, shut up, Sam. OG Bird. BRB, I'm gonna hold an adult conversation now. Better Bird. $20 say he's gonna get punched in the face. Natasha. You sure you want to bet against me? Better Bird. I'm gonna call Steve. Natasha. You go do that. Better Bird. You sound awfully unconcerned about Clint, even though you evaluated Spectre as dangerous. Natasha. My balcony also has direct line of sight on Spectre. And Clint, who just ran up to him. Better Bird. Ah. Natasha. You can join me and watch if you bring snacks. Better Bird. Yeah, okay, be right there. The courtyard was quiet, and Mark lit a cigarette with shaky fingers, the flame trembling for a second before catching. He exhaled slowly, watching the smoke drift into the night and cover the dull light of the moon. He hated smoking, hated the taste of it, but it was the only thing that gave his hands something to do right now, and deep inside he could imagine Jake purring at the thought of nicotine in their lungs. The air shifted behind him, and there were light and careful footsteps behind him. Mark didn't turn around. If this is about earlier, he said without looking, I'm not going to kill myself so you can put the webs down. Funny, came a dry, familiar voice that was most definitely not the kid. I was thinking of an arrow to the spine. You know. Mark tensed and slowly he turned. Clint Barton stood about 10 feet away, bow in hand, relaxed but not entirely lowered. His expression was unreadable, but his knuckles were white where they gripped the riser. You're supposed to be in Egypt, Clint said evenly, or a secure holding cell, or literally anywhere but here, breathing New York air like you didn't ghost us and vanish mid-magic jackal crisis. Mark took another drag. Yeah, I get that a lot. Clint narrowed his eyes. You skipped out on us and knocked Spider-Man out. Pretty sure Tony sent out a national manhunt after you. I did. And now you're just what? Hanging out? Mark flinched, just slightly. He looked away. I needed air. Clint's eyes flicked down to the cigarette, then to Mark's scuffed boots, then back up to his face. You okay? He asked, a little too sharp, like he already knew the answer but was too polite to just call him out on it. No, Mark replied bluntly. But I'm not gonna put a hole in the pavement if that's what you're asking. Clint hesitated. The bow lowered another inch. I pinged the group chat, he said after a pause. Nobody told me you were cleared to be here. Because I'm not, Mark said. They're figuring it out. I think. Maybe. I don't know. I just almost cried in front of Captain America. You cried in front of Cap? Clint winced. Man, rookie mistake. Mark huffed out something between a scoff and a laugh. Tell me about it. A long silence stretched between them. The bow was finally lowered, Clint casually leaning against a wall and mustering Mark like he was trying to look right through him. I thought we'd have to chase you down again, Clint said. You made it pretty clear last time you weren't a fan of the team thing. I'm still not. And yet, here you are. Mark didn't respond at first, and then, yet here I am. Clint let that hang in the air for a few moments. All right, I'll bite. He paused and glanced sideways. You sticking around? And the others know you're here? For now, Mark said. Another beat passed. Want to come inside? Mark looked at him. Not really. Clint lowered himself down beside Mark, the cool stone pressing against his back as he settled. He glanced over, eyes flicking to the cigarette pinched between Mark's fingers. Mind if I have one? Clint asked, voice low. Mark raised an eyebrow but didn't move the cigarette away. Suit yourself. Clint gently took it from Mark's hand, bringing it up to his lips. Clint inhaled slowly, the smoke curling out in a steady stream. Thanks, he said, exhaling and bringing the cigarette to his lips one last time before giving it back. Mark watched the smoke drift away, then muttered, You don't strike me as a smoking type. Clint shrugged. Not usually. Mark flicked ash onto the ground. Yeah, I get that. They sat quietly for a moment, sharing the calm, broken only by the occasional crackle of burning tobacco. So, Clint finally said, why come back here, after doing all that to get away? Mark didn't answer right away. He took a long drag and let the smoke fill the space between them. It was weird talking to the Avenger again after the last conversation they had. For a second, he remembered getting pushed out of his own mind, getting stuck in his headspace, having to leave Steven to deal with his past mistakes, past kills. Mark was quick to take another drag from his cigarette, letting the nicotine do its work to calm him. Clint didn't press him. He just watched quietly with one hand resting loosely over his knee, while the other fidgeted idly with the arrow he had pointed at Mark. Because I don't get to be selfish. Give me my money, Wilson. Sam just sighed as he rummaged through his wallet and dropped a 20 in Natasha's outstretched hand. She pocketed the money and gave him a bright smile. How do you know that Clint wouldn't start a fight? He relates to Spectre too much. Sam hummed and continued to watch the two figures in the courtyard. You know, I feel this was kinda an intrusion into their privacy. Natasha just took another sip from her glass of wine. Welcome to the spy biz. Don't even think about asking for your money back. Sam leaned against the windowsill, arms crossed, eyes narrowed at the figures below. They're literally smoking and trauma botting. That feels like sacred ground we should not be treading on. Please, Natasha said, swirling her wine like this was the least interesting part of her evening. If they wanted privacy, they'd have picked a rooftop. Courtyards are for existential crisis with witnesses. Sam gave her a look. That can't be an actual rule. It is if you're Russian. She took another slow sip. Down in the courtyard, Clint had stood and was saying something quietly before turning toward the building. Mark didn't follow. Sam sighed again. You think he's gonna come inside? He will. Natasha's voice was confident. Too confident. Just needs to finish the cigarette. And the emotional spiraling. And the crippling guilt? Sam added. Oh, that'll take longer. Might need a second cigarette. They both watched as Mark flicked ash to the ground, staring at nothing, cigarette still burning slowly in his hand. Sam ran a hand over his face and took a sip of his own drink. You know, I genuinely thought you would finally lose a bet. I didn't take Clint for a deep talk kind of guy. Natasha grinned. And yet, here I am, richer, smugger, and still undefeated in emotional manipulation bingo. He shot her a look. You're terrifying. I know. They stood in silence, watching the lone figure in the courtyard finally stand up and drag himself back to the building after one last exhale of smoke. And that's a wrap on chapter 24. I hope you all enjoyed. This was fun to read, but also another chapter of me failing to voice literally every character in this fic. Oh well. You guys like me anyway, right? Please go show the original author ShizunaRey some love, and please leave me a comment. I love reading your comments. They make me so happy. Please leave me specifically hate comments, and I'll shout you in the next video. That being said, unfortunately, no one commented at all last video, so like the last few times, I guess I really should just stop this fic. No one seems to enjoy it. What am I saying? Of course I'm going to continue until we get to the end. We're so close. We're so close. There's just chapters 25, 26, and 27 left. I think. There might be one more. I don't know. But we're so close. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, Pops!